just a special boy, never talking no harm. He speaks like he's insane, he's had trouble with his brain since the day he was born. Puffing his vapes, taking his pills. Some people talk about your problems, but Gus never will. Getting through life and no one understands how. So sit down and talk with Gus on Puff Up Peace Now.
Welcome back to another episode of Puff Puff Peace. We're cruising. I don't know what day it's coming out, and I don't really care. It's going to come out when it comes out. I'm on the relaxed time of it, but taking some time out of his busy schedule. Friend of mine, I'd say friend, right?
Definitely
I'd call
friends.
you a friend.
Definitely friends. Pre KMS. Well, during KMS, but I mean me coming back, we had lunch together with Tim and Canton. Remember, we went to Pizza Palace. So we're on the friendship level, Gus.
So I'm actually glad to have you because a lot of people know you from Kirk Show, obviously as a hard. What are you, a hard 9?
Hard 9.5. No, 9.5. I don't say hard 9.5, but I appreciate you going there. But 9.5. 9.5.
It's a hard 9.5.
Yeah.
And when did you know you were a 9.5?
That's a great question, Gus. I'm glad you asked that. I feel like I knew in 8th grade, where I just had a run of girls in 8th grade that was like historic. Like 7th grade, I think it was like kind of acne. That's probably puberty time a little bit, and like so I wasn't doing great. But 8th grade, I just made that jump, and it was just a moment in time where I just realized like I got this, and it just hasn't slowed down since. To be honest with you, just hasn't.
Were there sports involved for it? Were you like the hot athlete kid, or were you?
Well, 8th grade isn't high school sports or anything like that, but like no, it just mean like around school. Like 8th grade, like no girls are showing up to like your youth sports games or anything like that. It was just a run for me, and that's what I felt like. And then I don't know, high school probably did get a little worse with the acne situation. So, but yeah, it's just continued ever since. That's all.
When did you know that you wanted to be in a career path that was more in the content game? Like, I mean, you started off with real estate videos, doing those editings. You've worked in radio behind the scenes many a times. You've had many friends who are consultants. Like, what made you want to choose this? Like, at what age were you just like, this is the time I'm going to be in front of a microphone?
Oh, you mean to actually like talk and stuff like that? I've never really I've never really viewed it like that. To be honest, I guess I don't know if it's fortunate or what. I knew I always wanted to work in radio. So that started that. And right out of college, I worked for like a really shitty radio station that, had some syndicated shows out of it, all financial infomercials, which we've kind of talked about on the show. But I always had the microphone in front of me during those shows. And the people that I worked with, like, I wouldn't say they wanted me to talk. And I'm not saying I forced my way in, but they were really bad at radio that they almost needed everyone around them to talk. You know what I mean? Like literally just to fill time, because it was a 5,000 watt station that nobody could hear. And so literally you just kind of are using whoever's around to talk. So I kind of got used to it very early just because of that. And then it probably was when I went to like the talk radio world, like politics, not that I enjoyed politics, I kind of was like, all right, I want to be a part of just a show. It wasn't really talking on the microphone. It was just being a part of content that I enjoyed. I kind of just kept going with stupid infomercial stuff. Like you said, real estate, financial. Then I went into on RKO, we did politics, and I was just like, I don't give a shit about that stuff. So I would have either like left the business, or just from a timing perspective, I know you don't want to mention it because it's Puff Puff Piece, but the Kirk opportunity and the Alan Dershowitz kind of saga happened. If I didn't get the offer from Kirk to do radio.com, I probably would have quit radio altogether and done something else. Because I didn't want to do a politics show or anything like that.
So it's safe to say Kirk saved your radio career and your content career and TikTok. I mean, without that moment, do you think you'd be making these awesome TikToks? Yeah,
I don't know if I still maybe I would have got gun shy and just went back to like infomercials or something because I was used to it. But I don't know. Maybe there's a good chance that's a yes, because I was just so fucking sick and tired of the financial infomercial world stuff, which like It was never dictated by ratings. It was always like people wanting to grow their business, which is fine. I respect it. I actually kind of like the idea of it now. But back then when you're in it, you're kind of like, oh, these guys are fucking weird. Like they're just using radio to, give away free guides and shit like that. It just got old really quick. And so, yeah. So there's, I guess, going back to it, there's a good chance that I could be alongside you at a place like Amazon or something like that today without Kirk Minihane. So, which would be fine too. Which would be fine. Yeah.
I always recommend anyone wants to come drive. Driving's great. It's a good relaxing experience. And I get to listen to you guys every day. It's perfect. It's a win-win in my book.
Right.
What you said, you weren't into politics really. What were like the hobbies of a young Dave, and how do you still have kind of the same hobbies you did when you were like that reckoning of the 9.5 era?
I would say, at least in that era, it was always hockey. It was always watching the Bruins. It was always playing street hockey with my buddies. Or was playing like wiffle ball. And we had kind of our own like league through middle school and stuff like that. So from a hobbies perspective though, like I don't just like get up on Saturday morning and go fish. So I don't have really like hobbies like that. I guess kids have kind of fucked up. And we've talked about this. Kids have fucked up my golf game. Like if I didn't have kids, I probably would be golfing a shit ton more. I'd probably be golfing Saturday and hopefully Sunday too, and golfing like Montante does. But I literally have not. I probably play like twice a year now, which sucks. When they get to an age where I can just kind of like get away and they can stay at home or whatever, I would assume golf would be my number one hobby at that point, and I'll pick that back up because I'm not playing street hockey anytime soon. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Just like playing sports with buddies and stuff like that.
What was the sport you were best at?
Sport, I would say growing up, it was always hockey. Golf, I was always like middle of the road. Baseball, I was okay. Like I played on summer league teams and stuff like that. But never got to the point where I was like, I don't know. I didn't play like baseball in high school or anything like that. But yeah, I would say hockey. I was a goalie. At least from my perspective, there weren't like in my grade, there was only like one or two other goalies playing and stuff like that. So yeah, hockey would be the sport.
How many,
but I said the other day on the show, I used the term because of shout out to the rink shrinks. You don't want to be a backyard loser. And so like, I think growing up, it was always like, we just played whatever sports we could. And I would say I was always competitive.
Hey, so it was like a jack of all trades, a master of none.
Yes, I would say so. But that's like, don't you think that's like typically every person growing up for the most part? Right.
Wouldn't you say that's a healthy way to grow up?
I think so.
Like you've talked about it. You have your daughter getting ready for a basketball league. Coach Cullinane coming to the sidelines.
I'm very nervous about this. I'm very nervous about this. I've had a couple listeners send me their what's called pamphlets or whatever, like what they're supposed to do, what the town tells them to do. It looked way more intimidating than I thought second graders playing basketball would be. Like way more intimidating. So I got to do a lot of studying up on it. I don't think the parents of second graders in like a youth town basketball league are expecting me to like help their kids get better, but maybe I could just like process, like I could just organize them to actually do the drills and stuff like that. But looks way more intense than I was prepared for. I know.
Are you gonna have the better kids playing more? Are you gonna focus on time?
I don't even know if it's games. If I knew that they were playing actual games, I swear to God, I would never have signed up, which would have been a problem because like I'm big. Like I want my daughter to start doing shit involved in the town stuff, right? Because right now she's doing like dance, gymnastics. That's like kids from towns all over going to these schools. So she's not playing with like kids that are going to her elementary school or anything like that. So I basically forced it on her by saying, okay, I had to say I will coach if you play. So that's how I like forced it. But I think if I looked it up and like actually realized they'd be playing games, I don't know if I would have done it. Like no, I don't know I know I watch the Celtics every now and then. I know basketball. I can shoot a basket and I can play the game. But I think if I said to you, like, if you said, Dave, what defense are you going to run? Like, I'd be fucked. I don't really know. I'd probably just say zone, but I don't really remember what goes into running a zone except for like, literally the basics of the basics is what I remember about like telling people what to do when it comes to basketball.
That's the best age though. At second grade, that's what they need to learn is the basics of the basics. And,
so am I telling, are we playing zone or are we playing man to man?
I mean, at this point, you're going to end up playing man to man because it's just if it's anything like soccer, it's going to be blob sports. Wherever the ball is 7 of the kids are going to be there, and the other 2 are going to be picking their noses on the side.
Right.
So it's just making sure they know where the ball is and having fun, at least at that age. I would assume.
You know what? It's good to kind of like force me into that in a way, because I do, like, my son is 5. He's doing learn to skate. I like the idea of coaching him in youth hockey. Youth hockey, I feel like, is more intense, especially more intense than like the town leagues of soccer or basketball. It's just a gut feeling. So this will be a good kind of like precursor to that, or me deciding like, fuck it, if I can't do basketball, I sure as shit can't do hockey at that point.
Do you think you're going to be one of those dads that are like up against the glass yelling at the refs and they're like they're 6-year-olds trying to skate in a circle?
I'm not that guy, but I think I had to come to Jesus. Probably said it on the show. I apologize for repeating myself. I had to come to Jesus moment where I realized with like my brother-in-law, right? Greatest guy in the world, but he would have his son shoot like, I don't know, 150 pucks in the basement every night. And the kid was like, when he was like 6 years old, 7 years old, 8 years old, like, and I used to say like, that's fucking nuts. Like, I will never force my kids to do shit like that. Now that I have kids, I realize like literally all I want to do is give them activities to kill time to eventually get to bed, basically. So like I could totally see myself forcing my son to do shit like that now, literally, but only with the purpose of like, do something. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, do something productive, tie yourself up, out, do something productive, whatever. If instead of pucks, if that means like he's into schoolwork or whatever, and I can force him to focus on homework, more power, like, great. But I feel like it's going to get to that point where like, I'm just doing shit like that I used to hate, but now it's like, all right, just kill time. It is what it is.
What would you say is like what's your secret method you have to get your kids to be like, all right, we're gonna go tire them out, like it's your ace in the hole, works every time?
Works every time is probably not the way I would put it, for sure. I am just any opportunity I get to just take them out of the house and go anywhere to run. My reliable right now in life has been my sister's kids. They're like the cousins, they're best friends. They're a little older. So like he's in 7th grade. So he's on his bike all the time. So I can go over there. He's going to ride his bike in the neighborhood and they're going to ride scooters behind him. You know what I mean? And that's going to hopefully tire them out. That's been the reliable. If not, we're going to the playgrounds of the world. I've said it. I'm a burn the hours guy, and I swear to God, I don't stop. So I try to keep them out as long as humanly possible until like dinner time or whatever, and then they're just hopefully tired before bed. Yeah. If they just stay at home, it's just going to drive me fucking crazy. Like it's always the neediness. Like, I want this, I need help with this, and it's just fucking constant. Like my daughter last night was drawing, like she got like this huge strip of paper and went down the entire hallway. And she wanted to write like all the different names of her cousins and her classmates and shit like that. So literally she's saying, Dad, she's in 2nd grade. Like, how do you spell Alexandra? How do you spell like Matthew? Like literally asking me to spell 50 plus fucking names. And obviously I only got to like 5 where I was like, I'm not fucking helping you anymore. Like, spell it wrong. Or, you know what I mean? Like, just spell it wrong, and then maybe we'll look at it and go over it or some shit. But I'm not going to sit here.
Spell it wrong. It looks cute. I don't know.
There you go. Spell it wrong, and then hopefully over time we'll teach. But I'm not going to like just fucking teach. I'm not going to rattle off spellings of 50 plus individuals. Like, just draw, for God's sakes. That's all I wanted.
So growing up in New England, have you always been like, this is where I'm going to be? Like, have you ever had the idea of like going to a different region at some point?
No, I'm a pussy. I would never like go away from my family. Obviously in like my years now, like I'm so dependent on my mom, even though Chase is going to kindergarten next year. So that's going to be gone. But at least for the last 7 years, I was so dependent on my mom with childcare and everything, and just always there on the weekends and stuff like that. So, but I just, all my family did stay here. And so like I have a sister, the sister I go to that I said, like, go to run around with her cousins. She lives 25 minutes away. And you would think that's, San Diego, for God's sakes, to my parents. They don't just like get in the car and go over there and visit. because they're not the next town over like I am or my other sisters and brother. You know, it's crazy. So yeah, I've never even considered it. I didn't consider it for college. I didn't consider it for after college. And I think that made me, it kind of fucked me over too. Cause like, I don't really care about traveling or anything like that. Like, I don't need to like go see, I don't need to, I mean, I'll go, like if my wife decides she wants to like go somewhere, I would go, but I would never just like voluntarily be like, hey, let's go take a vacation to California. I've never been there before. I just don't think like that for some reason. So I'm stuck here.
Where has been your favorite place you've gone?
My favorite vacation place. I haven't been to a lot of places because of that. That's a good question. I'm actually trying to think of what I guess I went on a cruise. Oh, my honeymoon was Antigua. I liked Antigua. But like then I look back and I'm like, all we really did was have like a nice hotel on the beach. And it's like I could accomplish that by going to a nice beach in Florida with a, you know what I'm saying? Like I didn't do anything besides sit on a beach, swim and drink. And, you know, the food was good, but I assume I could find some place very close to me that is a nice beach with good food and I could drink there. So that would always be like my mentality. Like even when we try to plan like family vacations, I don't even bother. I'm just like, let's just fucking do Disney again. Like we know where the houses are. We know they're big enough to fit our entire family. We know how much it costs. And we know what to expect with Disney World. Like, let's just do it until the kids are bored of it. And it's just easy.
What's your favorite ride at Disney right now?
My favorite ride at Disney. Did they just close? They didn't close Space Mountain. What's the one they closed? Do you know? Was it?
Splash Mountain got the re-update into Tiana.
One of them turned into Tiana. Okay, so it was
Yeah.
Splash Mountain. Okay, so I like Space Mountain, but that's like the best. Like that's considered the roller coaster, right? I said it wasn't because it didn't go high enough. I think was my rationale.
In Magic Kingdom, yeah. No, in Magic Kingdom, Big Thunder Mountain, I think I would put it as it depends on what your sense of style is, though. Now,
Right.
like if you like the dark enclosed experience, you'll like space. If you like to be out more,
I like that. I didn't get a chance to do it last year when we were there. What's the one at Epcot? The new one, Tron. I didn't get a chance. To do
no,
that
that's at Magic Kingdom as well. That's the new one at Magic Kingdom.
Oh, that's
Tron's at Magic Kingdom. The new one at Epcot is Guardians. Is the big one.
Is that the one where you're like you're almost on like a motorcycle?
That's Tron. Tron's on the
Tron.
motorcycle, and that's at Magic Kingdom.
Got it. Okay. Either way, I didn't get to try either though. I haven't been on either of those ones, but everyone who went on it said they loved those ones. So that would probably be it.
Do you like thrill rides, or you like more of the relax?
Yeah, I haven't done. I'd actually like to try it again. I haven't been to like an actual like theme park outside of Disney, which I think like Disney is like amateur in terms of like the thrill of a roller coaster, right? Like the most extreme Disney ride probably does not compare to like your average roller coaster at Universal or Six Flags or something like that.
By far.
Right. So I used to love
the experience. Disney gives you the experience,
which I like because it's like super clean. I liked it even as an adult before kids. No, I'm not like I don't listen to like the Disney podcast or anything like that, but I enjoyed it. It was just like an easy, I knew what to expect. I knew what to get. It was organized in the sense of like, I knew we had to get to the parks early and we're just going to like walk around all day. I didn't have to like overly plan anything if we were just going somewhere else and I had to think of all these different like sites to see. But I personally enjoyed it. But back to your question about like thrill rides and shit, I had a phase pre-kids where when we did go to Disney as a family, it wasn't Universal. What's the other, like the theme park within it?
Adventure Island.
Islands of Adventure, Justin said.
Yeah, Islands of Adventure.
Oh, I gotta move. He's testing something for unnamed.
Oh, that's fine. Shout out to Justin.
Yeah. Justin's right behind me. I'll walk and talk. The Islands of Adventure had like, what were they? Dueling Dragons roller coasters, and I thought those were pretty badass. So I went through a phase where like I was constantly like, that day was the most anticipated day of the vacation because we would just like hammer through, get the fast pass, which was crazy expensive or whatever, but get the fast pass and just bang through those rides. I enjoyed that. So I'd like to try that again because I haven't been on like a real roller coaster in a long time. So I'd like to try that again.
Are you a little mad that you've never been invited to Canopy Lake Park with Justin?
No, I feel like Justin later said something about Canopy to me. Yes, I hope to get that invite one day, but those aren't that extreme of roller coasters, right? I don't
I mean,
think.
only Untamed. I'll give you Untamed, that new one that they have.
Yeah.
It's like a small like launch dive coaster,
Right.
but
Doesn't
you can't.
doesn't compare to like a Six Flags one, right? Or
No,
like
because Six Flags has a new one coming out this year. Fun fact.
See, that's the thing. Now I am, and it's got to be a thing with age. And I don't know if you have any shit like this, but you're a crazy person. I have watched a lot of like fucked up videos about roller coasters where like people getting trapped upside down. I feel like I see one once a month is probably dramatic, but maybe like once every 3 months, I see a pretty bad roller coaster video, and maybe some of them are repurposed and they're old. But like, I don't love the idea of being like, oh, there's a new roller coaster at Six Flags or wherever you just said. Let me go make sure I get there. Do you know what I mean? Like to me, I
You want
probably
to make sure it's safe.
I probably want that in operation for like 2 or 3 years before and maybe it's just me turning into a pussy. Probably.
I wouldn't say that. It's you have different priorities in life that you need to make smarter decisions that aren't worth risks.
That's fair. That's a fair assessment right there. Yeah, I would say so. And like, I'm not like I want to do it, and I don't necessarily know if it's like it's not necessarily like the fear of doing it. Yeah, I don't know how to explain that one. I guess it's just kind of like why risk it. Yeah, I guess you're right. I don't even know how to word it. I guess it's like when you have, I think it's just truthfully when you have kids, it turns into a pussy. I don't even know if I was thinking of it like, oh, if I go on a roller coaster, I'm going to die and then my kids are left without a dad. I'm not going to
Well,
like
not even that, but like if imagine you're sitting upside down on a roller coaster.
Yeah.
For what? 2 hours stuck upside down, blood's rushing to your head.
Right.
You don't gotta sit through that. You have other things to make you have other things that'll make you miserable.
That's probably more the thing too, is like with some of these things, I'd probably be nervous getting back into like going to do a roller coaster because I never was like a runner or anything like that. And I think you're a weird candy guy too, right? Like, don't you eat like a lot of candy? Like I literally grew up my entire life. Honestly, if on average, I probably had like a decent sized bag of Skittles every day, my entire life for like 25 years. And recently, probably within the last like year and a half, I just thought about like, I had to been just developing cancer for 25 years and a lining of really bad shit in every facet of my intestines and like you know what I'm saying? And so I'm trying to rework kind of my life in a healthy lifestyle to like try to undo the mess that I did. I'm like really paranoid about that right now.
But counterpoint, do you believe in evolution? Because if
not
you
really, I'm not like
if you believed in evolution, then you could be saving future generations by ingesting all this bad shit to build up a tolerance for future generations. So you're doing the world a service.
Not a crazy thought. Not a crazy thought. At least where I am right now is that I just have struck like somehow the fear of God is within me that I've done so much damage that I'm gonna like die young, and so I'm trying to reverse it as best as I can. I'm not like fully out of the candy world yet, but I'm probably like 95% of what I once was. I'm probably out of at this point, which is productive for me at least. Hopefully I added years on my life within the last year and a half.
Are you one of the people that are like afraid to go to the doctor because you just don't want to hear what?
Yep. That is. I've always been that guy. By the way, I've always been that guy. I went to the doctor like 3 years ago, and I thought I broke the cycle a little bit, kind of like Kirk with Dr. Dan, right? Nothing happened to me in the doctor's appointment. I was just scared shitless of what I would hear or find. But I went to a new doctor like 3 years ago, and he's a little bit older, so he's retiring soon. So I feel like he kind of like just didn't fuck around in the appointments. And I walked in, he took, he did all the readings he needed to do. But then he was just like, hey, just stay that weight and you're fucking fine. Like that was his last word to me. Like, just stay that weight. I don't care what you eat. I don't care what you do. Just stay that weight somehow and you'll be fine. And I thought that would help me not be fearful of the doctor. I think I went back like once within the last 3 years. I haven't had a physical in probably 2 years. Like it didn't work like I thought it would work.
I have to get a physical, and it's been, I think, definitely it's been too long because of my strokes and everything. Like the stroke, the concussion.
Yeah, you should definitely be seeing somebody once a year, I would say.
But then you also reach a point like we all know what the end game's gonna be, so let's just enjoy what you got. That's the point. That's the point. I'm
fair, but don't you want to enjoy it longer? And then don't you want to enjoy
Not really.
it? Yeah. Like my
Not
parents
really.
are not in shape. And like for all that I've known them, not that they're not sitting in a chair the entire day, but they're overweight and they're not, like they're not crazy active, I guess we would say. Like they're active, like they can go to the fucking supermarket, I guess. So I'm probably describing this weird, but like they're not, I don't know, like if I wanted just like they weren't like playing basketball with me outside when I was 15. Like they're not like that really. You know what I mean? And so I want to be I'd like to be. I look at my father-in-law is really fit and in shape, and he's like he doesn't work out. He's just like a healthy, fit guy, and he's probably like 65, but like he could go fucking run a mile with my children right now, and I would like to be closer to that. You know what I mean? Like if the kids are all like playing a game outside, like I'd like to think I could get involved and not be a deterrent on the situation when I'm older. I'd like that. So I feel like you have to do stuff to get to that point. You know what I mean? Like you have to be exercising, you have to be moderately eating okay and stuff like that. So,
And as you make it seems like you're feeling like going back to a year ago when you left the show.
yep.
And then coming back to now, what would you say is your biggest mental difference between those two spots?
Nothing really nothing much when it came to the show, really. I think just I kind of went back into that. We've talked about it, like infomercial world, like real estate, financial. And I still I enjoy working with the people I do. So that's the biggest thing. Like going back to that stuff where I told you before that I didn't like it. It was more that I didn't really like the people that I was working with at the time. Now the people, and especially during that time that I wasn't with the show that year or so, I was working with people that like I borderline consider best friends and like I've known for 20 years at this point and stuff like that, or 15 or something like that. But not in terms of the show's like the same stuff. You always miss it. You're probably the same way. Like you miss the, you miss like the wild cards, especially with Kirk's show. Like I've always said, when people ask me like, why'd you go back or this and that? Like, I don't even know how to answer that because, like, of course I'd want to go back, or of course I'd want to be a part of it if it makes sense. The show is one of one. I always kept saying, like, it's one of one. There is literally nothing like it. And I understand if you're like a show hater or something like that, you can criticize all these different things. The reality is, like, you can go from talking about, Donald Trump, getting elected as president and it being like a 7-minute discussion to like, I don't know, Steve being disgusted that I picked my toenails and that could take 45 minutes to be a laugh out loud hysterical moment. You just don't get that anywhere else. You just don't. So it was never like, you would never not want to be a part of something. From my perspective, I would never not want to be a part of something if that offer presented itself.
I think you hit it directly on the head. And it's like, how happy are you that you're back? Come on, you have to. You got to be thrilled that you're back.
I love it. I love doing it. I do kind of feel like when I was first, and I don't even know if Justin and I have talked about, but like when I first started with the show, I just feel like the internet was like a little crazier. Not crazier in the sense, like I feel like people had more confidence being assholes on the internet. Like I feel like recently we haven't had a lot of those situations. Like Darren Rovell today knows that he shouldn't tweet out like, oh, I have memorabilia from, Rosa Parks. Whereas like even just as little as like 2 years ago, that was like normal to him and so many other people to tweet like that. I feel like things have changed in the last, like, we just don't get like that much fun from the internet, like people saying stupid shit anymore. I want that to come back a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, besides that, like, I love it. I mean, every aspect of it.
So one of the things, listening to the show yesterday, and it's actually what inspired me to reach out to you was, you go on a little gambling trip this weekend.
Yes. Yep.
The blackjack conversation is great. So I'm excited because, as Kirk said, he's going to come on. We're going to do this on blackjack, but I got craps up for you.
Yes. Hey, before we go into this, because you're a resourceful individual, I'm getting some heat, not so much on the dollar amount and not so much on the gambling and the games. I'm getting a lot of heat about sharing the hotel room with two of my best friends. And so I actually literally just got a tweet from Matt from Providence that really might make me revisit like all the thoughts in my head. He's like, if you're willing to spend $1,500 on a hotel room, why wouldn't you spend on gambling? why wouldn't you spend $300 on the hotel room and, have sex with your wife at the end of the night?
That's exactly
That's a very rational take.
That's 100% correct. That's a very good suggestion, Mike.
Right.
Like, he's right. Like,
first of all, the hotel room is $600. So, and I did say that. So he has the numbers wrong. It was $600.
but still, so then instead of would you be willing to spend an extra 100 to get a hotel room to have a good night with your wife at the end of the night and have?
But we got to play like the scenario is the scenario, and it's not going to change in the sense that the hotel room has to be at Encore Casino because that's where the party. Like, we're not going to stay outside. We're not going to be those people staying outside.
I get that, and you say it's a $600 room, and you wanted to gamble for 15.
So,
right.
So would I gamble 900 and get my own room?
Well, see, I don't like seeing that 900 sits odd with me. Just make it 1,000. Could you afford the extra 100 and get the $600 room and then have your 1,000 back?
That's rational. That's rational. Now, in my defense, and maybe it's because I'm a little bit of a pushover and I just like let things happen and be like, my wife was the one in the discussions of the party, right? And then my wife was the one looking up hotel rooms and then talking to her girlfriends, basically being like, wow, these are really fucking expensive. And they said, oh, why don't we just share this? Right. So it's like, once that comes down the pike and I get that news do I then be like, oh, we should get I probably should have been the guy to stop in my tracks and be like, no, like we never go fucking out. We have 2 kids. Our life is miserable at home, basically. Like, let's just spend the $600 and have sex at the end. I probably should have thought like that and said that, but in that moment I didn't. I don't know if it's like she caught me at a weird time where I wasn't thinking through it at that spot or whatever. But now I'm seeing like Matt this morning really put it into perspective for me that was probably a really bad like decision on my part to keep to let happen, basically.
A little bit, but I mean,
and it's a bad view. Like, as a husband, I think it's bad, to be honest with you.
Because you're the husband that can't get his wife a room.
No, actually, no. I don't even care about the money aspect of that because I just know that that's not true, and she knows that's not true. I think of more as like a husband of like, I should have been the one to step up and be like, well, don't you want to like take advantage of the opportunity that we could just be alone together?
Oh, the man of the relationship.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, Gus. I know you know a little thing or two about this as well. But my point is, this weekend is not about us. This weekend is about one of our best friends turning 40 and then seeing everybody else. My gut would tell me, if I were a betting man, just like in general, if I got that hotel room for $600 and it was just our room, I'm probably going to get like insanely drunk and nothing's going to happen anyway. Do you know what I'm saying? And she's
I know what you're saying.
And she's probably going to get insanely drunk because we don't drink anymore ever. And so it's kind of like, we're just going to take advantage of the opportunity that's been presented to us. And we're probably just going to stay out as late as humanly possible, which really just means don't go back to your hotel room until your eyes are closing, like me in Portland, basically. And you know what I'm saying? Like, and then just pass out on the bed. I'll end up sleeping with all my clothes on with my contacts in. If I were a betting man, I would bet that 99 times out of 100. Right. So I probably at the end of the day, like, lucked into the right situation. I bet.
I mean, yeah. And then you have more money to gamble with and kind of for other things.
Right.
I don't know I've never been to Encore. I
think I went in there. I don't know if it was a work. I went in there once, but I don't remember why. Definitely like wasn't just like gamble. So I can't remember what I was in there for.
Because Mike went there over Rich Keefe, right? Yeah.
I wasn't there for that.
But yeah. Because Justin probably was.
Yeah, I believe so. So but I don't know. I hear nice things.
So the one thing I learned very quickly about craps, and you're gonna learn, is you need to have a bankroll to do it. Like if you're betting the 1,000, and I'll make it easy, I'll put this at the buy-in at a 10K, just so that way it's easy to translate for you. Because I know instead of doing things by the year, you like it by the week or month.
Yeah.
Whatever that is. So basically, the way I was taught was I focused on the pass line bets. And basically, your pass line bet is you're going to be setting those numbers up top are your points. So your betting is, the way I was told was, if I put $1,000 on the pass line right here, I'm gonna guess I'm gonna hit one of these numbers. at some point. And then when I roll the die, if it hits like a 6 or a 5, that sets the point. And then what I'm betting behind this line is the odds I'm going to roll a 6 or whatever that point is before I roll a 7 and crap out.
Okay.
So
Okay.
at the beginning of this, I was told you do like 1,000 on the bet, and then actually this makes it easier to start.
So you got 1,000
I got
on the pass line.
On the pass line, and this is us. I'm going to show you how this will set get us to set a number. What 2 die do you want? You get to pick your die.
What do you mean? Just like the colors?
Color, yeah.
Yeah, go with the green ones. That's fine.
So in at the casino, you actually like there's people if they're playing like they really like look at the die intensely, the real players.
Okay.
I watched people at in Tiverton do this. It was very funny. Roll. All right. 3. We lost. So
because 3 is not 4
3
is
not
10, basically.
3 is not the 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10.
Yep.
And for the 1 roll bets, I could have bet on it, and that's 15-1 or the horn bets. So that's your 2, 3, 11, 12.
Yep.
Odds are based off of that. The field bets, like these are, as I was told, like your ways you can like back up your bets. So right now we're down 1,000, and it's a game that again you can lose money really quick. So my advice to you: start blackjack first, because you can at least. That's easier to manage because, as you'll see, I'll put another 1,000 on there, and then to like cover myself, I'll put 100 on the 6. These are 2-1 because 6 and 8 are your second most likely numbers to appear. 7 is the most what is it? The most common to appear because it's the most combinations.
Okay.
So with the 6 or an 8, if it rolls a 6 or an 8, I get an extra 200, and then that's a big spot for me. Let's see if we can set a point here. Same thing, roll off the back. 2.
Okay,
good news.
Yeah.
So the 2, you're going to lose the pass line again, because if you don't roll a 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10.
Yep.
The 11 you keep. An 11's a good one. And a 7 you keep. So if you roll a 7 or an 11, you double your money on the pass line. And because we haven't had a point set yet, I'm trying to set a point.
Okay.
But once you get the point, it's easier to explain after.
So what's the like if you ended up, let's say you were only betting the pass line, you weren't doing the 6 and the 8, but you landed on, let's call it, you landed on 9.
Yep. So 9 becomes the point, and then you can place a bet behind it. Like here we go, perfect, 10.
Yep.
So now 10's the point. So what this bet will do is I'm allowed to bet up to a certain amount back here.
Yep.
Up to a certain percentage. For what I think the odds are, I'm going to roll a 10 before I roll a 7.
Okay.
So now the 6 and 8, some people like to play the come line.
Yep.
So what this basically is, if you roll an 11, you double your money on it. So let's say I put a 500 here on the come. So 7-11, I double my money. Oh shit. That's fine. I hit trigger. So that's a 10. I hit the point. So now, since I hit that point, whatever's on the pass line, we win back.
Okay. Yep.
And then if I wanted to, I could have even put money behind it. So now, since we hit that point, the whole spin resets. But when you say
put it behind it, that's basically you want anything lower than what we have at 10.
Nope. So if you have, the pass line is what is. You get that if you roll the point before you roll a 7.
Oh, okay.
And then you just like amp up your bet. So I'll put 500, 1,000 on the pass line. I'll keep that on the 6 and 8 for now. And then I go check this out. So now we're going to try to set a new point, or hopefully get a 7 or an 11. Get an 8. That's really good. So you see we double up our 100. And the strategy with this is that if you get a hot roller, you'll keep winning money for it. So now we have that. I'll put 1,000. Like you see this little line back here. I can put 1,000 on that. So now, and I'll win another 1,000 if we hit the 8 again, and then on top of it another 1,200 because I just multiplied the bet more.
Yep.
So in total, if we win, we'd win $2,200. So
if you get an 8.
If I get an 8 right here, yeah. 7 craps out, lose everything.
Lose everything. Yep.
And that is why craps, like, if you're going into craps, you're playing with like a big bankroll, and then you can start getting into like the hard ways.
Yep.
So basically for these is you're going to bet if you think you're going to roll a 6 using the 3s, the 4s, whatever. And then those only go away if you roll a 7. Whereas all these bets down here are just one roll bets. So if you don't make it, they're gone. Odds are good. So like you'll see people once you get into like a rhythm. And the only way I got decent at this, because I started off, I think when I started playing this, I had like 1 million, and now I have 42 million just dicking around at night. Playing on this.
So your advice to me is to stay basically on the pass line.
Play the pass, and then like once you get like on a roll, so like we'll put 1,000 on the pass, try to set a point. Yeah. Because the come line is also what I was taught isn't bad to play, because if you get the 7, if you get the 11, you double. So there's an 11. We're gonna double our money.
Right.
That's a win for us. There, so we can't play the come line yet because there's no point set.
Yep.
And what that come line does is, let's say I rolled a 6 and the point was an 8. The whatever you bet on the come line would then go to here under the 6. So then if I rolled a 6 again, it's like another pass line. It's like a baby pass.
Got it. Okay.
Let's see. That's fine. But yeah, it's a game where your money can go quick. So 5 is the point. And then this is where, like, when I play, if I have a 6 or an 8 as the point, I usually do 1-to-1. So I'd put another 1,000 up because the odds are like that. So since it's a 5, odds are a little lower. I'll only put 500 on there, but then I'll also put 500 on the come line. Hits the 7 or 11, double the money.
Right.
If not, it'll move to a different point. So now we have a $2,000 bet. 12, that's fine. Doesn't hurt us. You just lose the come bet because there's no points for it. But you don't lose your pass line because you don't crap out on the 7.
Right. Okay. All right. I gotta dive deeper into the pass line. I mean, I'm getting the real life experience here, but I feel like and also when it comes to your turn at the table, if you don't want to roll, like, you don't have to roll. You can just like pass that and don't put any money on the pass line. But if you're going to roll, you have to put money on the pass line or the don't pass bar. Right. Right. Okay.
If you're going to roll, that's how you have to play.
Okay.
But if you were going to, and you can also, the more you'll get into it, is like you can bet specifically on the 4, 5, 6. Like you can actually, like, I could put a bet right here if I wanted to. And then, so I put 2,000, and they'll do an exchange because it's usually a 1-to-6 ratio.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but the people behind will like get you to have the right amount on it. So you're not going to be the only one where they'll be like, all right, you have to put this much, this around.
Right.
So the 9, if I had a come bet, it would have gone over there.
Yeah.
And that is craps, Dave Cullinane.
Okay. All right. You explained it. I'm going to be honest with you. I was actually talking to Justin about this. No, that was better than I thought you would do. So you have come a long way. But I get it to some extent. I do think I need a little bit more. I almost like once you air, I don't know when you're airing this, I'm going to watch it back, or I need to go watch more YouTube videos back, and then
YouTube.
probably
it's
play
gonna be
a little
YouTube
bit.
will help.
Right. And then probably play a little bit like quickly on, whatever you were just using, something along those lines.
You can, there's apps, just play it on your phone.
Right.
Makes life easy. Right. And as we wrap it up, it's my favorite part of the show. Any questions for me?
Well, fortunately with you, we get to see a lot of the documentation of what you do from day to day. So I'm happy about that. Can we get from an audience perspective what you're so consistent now with Amazon? Are you not considering moving to Chicago whatsoever anymore?
So the Chicago move is officially officially off the table. The wife got a very good job opportunity here.
Oh, here.
Well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So she got a very nice new position that seems gonna fit well with everything going on with her.
Awesome.
And then for me, like that was one of the things was when the promotion first came up, like they didn't want to, because like I told them right off the bat, like I'm only doing this until I move, and then talk to the wife. So yeah, I'm staying. And then
Okay.
Are
you here? Are you here primarily for the long haul? You were kind of asking me a little bit about that.
Yeah. I mean, it's honestly, it's wherever my wife wants to go. I don't care if she wants to go somewhere. I'll go in 2 seconds. Like I can. One, with the Amazon, I can do it. 2, like I'm getting back into like making videos and stuff. I really needed a reset.
Yeah.
And then now that I kind of got it, I'm back in a good headspace. I got a lot like I'm having fun again. I'm having a video coming out. I got to finish putting it together. I superimposed my head onto the Wolf of Wall Street, and it's gonna be the "I'm not fucking leaving" thing.
Yep.
And then it's just I'm gonna cut to all like the liberals reacting to Trump, and it's gonna be like Minifans, and I was gonna superimpose some faces on people.
Yep.
Of the crying nose. So.
Well, that's what's good when you have that reset, to your point of like now you have something, you know exactly what you're doing on certain days. And all the other stuff that you want to do that's kind of like big picture vision or fun vision or whatever, you have to work around that. And I don't know, you start to like maximize your time in a much better, more efficient way.
When everyone was, I've tried to get Mutt on the show. He's stone cold.
He's tough. Yeah, he's tough.
No response, which I respect, but I did look into it. It's 5 years, clean driving record. It's been over 5 years. He's eligible. This was asked.
Didn't he say the other day on the show that he likes like task based stuff? I'm actually into that too. Like I don't like if I have like a sheet of like a stack of papers that I need to organize, I don't give a fuck if it took me like 24 hours. Like I can't stop until that stack is done. It seems like Mike wouldn't hate like a job like that.
Mike Minihane doesn't even have to work for a DS like a company that does the deliveries. Like he could be his own flex driver on a part-time thing, have his own hours, be his own boss on his phone, and it tells him go here, 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 here.
Right.
It is the most stress-free.
Yep.
Like being like the one thing about this the new position is that I'm not on the road as much, which sucks. Because like I had a route, like I knew the dogs' names. Like one customer's dog's name is Cody, is a 3-year-old golden retriever, would come visit me with a stick every time. Like
yep.
So like like when people
how's your body handling this? Like my father-in-law was UPS like 30 plus years or whatever, retired now, but like there's some wear and tear on a delivery driver's body over time.
Oh, there most certainly is, but I mean I'm still young enough. Honestly, the thing that hurts the most is my elbow. If I whack it against, like, if I accidentally whack my elbow that I fucked up in basketball, still
right, like leaving the truck or whatever. Yeah,
it is fucking a nightmare. Like, crippling pain.
How many steps have you looked at? How many steps do you do on a typical day? Like the way, like how many steps does it calculate out to, like when you're not driving, obviously?
So we have these little like hip things that tell us if we're doing risky bends. Like we have to like do squats.
No shit.
It's yes, we have those. It's for insurance. It gets cheaper insurance. Our rates lower, and it's annoying. But at one point of the day, I catch myself doing like a squat rather than a bend.
Yep.
But it's like the wear and tear. It's like you know it's gonna be there. But
right.
I don't know. I'm still young enough. I'm spry.
Right.
It's and then from a step point. Yesterday I only did 5 miles, but I only had 105 stops because we had like a 6,000 package.
But that's legit. Like
no, that's a very
lot.
light day. I do like 9 if I was on a full route, a normal, like during prime days, guys will do 9-10 miles running from the truck. And that's if like people are following, like you're not supposed to go in the driveways. We strongly recommend against that. So like you walk down the driveway. Yep. I'm like up in like the Easton area. So it's like sometimes you get to the wooded parts, which is really cool.
What do they expect of you guys, like when it comes to holiday season and there's just so many more orders and things like that? Do they expect you guys to do a certain percentage more each day, or are they like doing their best to hire more people to make up for that influx?
It's a combination. It's a combination of both, because so basically where the sorting pack facility we're out of, we have like 6 different companies like the one I work for that do all these deliveries. And we have the algorithm sets up your time, and it's like they expect you to do X amount of packages in an hour.
Yep.
So when I'm back behind the desk, I can actually see all the drivers where they are on their route. And it's like, all right, you're like yesterday, I was 27 stops ahead at one point. So it's like, that's good. But then it's also like, if I go too fast, then it fucks up the route. So it's like, you have to kind of get to that sweet spot where going, like they even say like if you go too fast, it can fuck up things in the long term. For now we have light routes, so we know it's going to be easy. Come 2 weeks when Prime Week begins and Black Friday sales start going, we'll have 200 stops, 250 stop days where
crazy.
It's for us, a driver can work no more than 12 hours from when they clock in to clock out.
Yep.
And Amazon wants everyone off the road at so right now our routes are designed to be done by 9. So our last package in theory should be dropped off no later than 8:30.
Wow.
At least out of our facility. But then when Prime season hits, it'll go to like 10:30.
What does I don't know if you've seen it, but like, what does like a Prime warehouse look like with all the items? Like, is it basically like Costco, but more efficient in a way? Like,
so that's like the Fall River facility where, so basically for our facility is nice because we just get the 18 wheelers will come in overnight, load all their big stuff off onto the conveyor belts. And then it all gets sorted, scanned, and then put in the bags. And then like sometimes you'll see it in the Amazon bags, like those big, like these big, huge bags that they have. Like if you live in an apartment complex, you see them pulling in and out. So you'll get those, like yesterday, I only had 10, but like on a busy day, I've had 27 of those things in a van before. So it's fun.
I'm like sneaky, like super curious about that. Like, does Amazon like buy a lot of that product like the same way I'm assuming a grocery, like a way a grocery store would, right? Like they're buying, a certain amount of Lucky Charms at wholesale prices.
Centers.
Right.
Yeah. So they all have those fulfillment centers, and then all gets shipped out that way. And
but like it's not the product or the company that developed the product shipping out, I don't know, let's call it like 100 cases of fucking protein powder or something, and then waiting until it sells to get a check from Amazon. Amazon's buying that at wholesale rates.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then they just put it.
It's just crazy to think about that. Like, I mean, obviously Amazon has all the money in the world, but like just to have these, like to think that I can order something on Amazon.
They changed the delivery game.
It isn't like the most easy fucking thing to get, but I can still get it within 24 hours. It's just, I don't know, it's just wild to me.
Yeah. It's one of those things that the biggest thing, everyone says, oh, Amazon's a shopping site. No, it's a delivery company, and they're a damn good one. Like,
right.
To be able to get, like, I could, if I wanted to order a new footstool for my office, I could have it here in 5 hours, which is nuts.
Right.
Like,
do you like get in? Are you, because you work at Amazon, are you more involved in like paying attention to like the next things that Amazon's doing, like and stuff like that, like technology wise and everything?
Like, so like one of the things that with this new position that I have is now like I'll have meetings with like the actual Amazon representatives that are there and like what's working, what's not working.
Yep.
Like one of the things that used to be a rule that if those blue vans, you had to turn off the engine every stop. You had to turn it off, key out, like all these different things. And then we were like, well, one, that's stupid because if it's hot or cold, like we want to keep the air flowing. 1, 2, you're fucking up your starter and like how much money you're costing on engine repairs for that. So it's like nice to kind of see those things. And like, I even joke around, it's like with my weird brain, like I could be in the car and like, there's points like, oh, I remember, like, cause each package has a label on it with a number. So we know so once I see it, once I see it once, I'll be like, oh yeah, this is this one. And like I've driven up to a house before, just reached in, grabbed it without even looking, and like, all right, now I know exactly what I'm doing. It just when you hit that rhythm, it's weird.
Are you shocked, just because you're a content guy? Are you shocked at how bad Amazon is at like the content? And basically, like obviously to your point, they've perfected the delivery business basically. But the delivery business is also like, it gives them the ability to have the best marketing arm known to man. The packaging business gives them the best marketing arm known to man. So you would think that they would continually develop, content products to utilize those things that, they dominate in, and they just do it so poorly, which is just shocking to me.
Because I think now what they've realized is that rather than trying to get into their own content game, they've realized they're not the best at it. So why force it? Have other content creators do the promotion on the sides and coincide with them.
But why wouldn't you? Like if you're Amazon and you have all the money in the world, why can't you be as good as why can't Amazon Prime be as good as Netflix in just acquiring the right content, and then as a selling point they're acquiring it, and then they have the best promotional arm known to man.
Maybe they can't afford to take those away from your Netflix and your Apples and the ones that have the 6 in your Maxes, because even Max right now is like HBO's in some deep shit,
right,
which is like shocking to say.
Yeah, I thought like Mike brought that up the other day, and I actually thought like I thought Kirk would have a similar take, because I do too. Like growing up, HBO had all the they dominated like specific niches, and now Netflix, if they want to, and I think they'll prove it out tomorrow night. We're taping this on Thursday. They'll prove it out with boxing and sports. Like if they want to take over boxing, after tomorrow night, they can take over boxing. If they've already taken over comedy specials, we know that they've taken over. I remember HBO was really the only documentary place I used to go. Like, I don't know. I remember watching like the Miracle on Ice documentary on HBO, those types of documentaries.
Well, even Band of Brothers, like the docuseries was like HBO.
Right. And now it's just dominated by Netflix. I was just like shocked. I can understand sucking. Like I brought up on the show, the news stuff and like the Bonjour Sportses of the world, that effort, like those efforts of Amazon. I can understand sucking at that. It's kind of crazy when you have all the money in the world, but you hire like people nobody's heard of and you get production that looks like it's college level. That's strange to me. But I mean, at the end of the day, they could just be like, just dominate the delivery business. They have to do content because everybody else is. So they're just going to like do as much as they can to get away with.
I mean, they got The Boys, which I think.
Right. I don't watch The Boys. The only one I've ever watched on Amazon Prime was like Jack Ryan, I think.
Is Marvelous Miss Maisel, is that Prime?
Yep. I didn't watch that, but it won awards and shit.
Yeah. So like there's a couple, but I also think now, like the show's talked about it for years. Like when's there been like a brand new, fresh idea sitcom or even drama that's come out that's like become appointment viewing, like
on network TV,
on network, or even when like Netflix and Hulu, they would even do the weekly releases. Like with Stranger Things, they did weekly releases of it.
Yep.
So to kind of give that anticipation back. So I think if you have the right show, and like Game of Thrones at the beginning saw it, like if you have the right content, like people will do the week to week and go hard for it. But I think we need new, fresh ideas,
right?
Instead
of that's why I keep going back to like, I would have thought a company with endless dollars and endless marketing like an Amazon would be one of those companies that could compete with Netflix in the content world, and to some extent, they're doing like Thursday Night Football is well done. So like it makes you think that they could expand in the sports genre but I haven't heard anything of them considering it for the most part. I don't know. I think they never got anything with NBA. I can't remember. No,
I don't think they were I don't think so.
They were in the mix, I think. But
I did have $1 million idea for an NBA team, and I think in the G League they should actually implement it. You have to give up one courtside seat. Give up one courtside seat. You put a 360 camera, $49.99 a game. You can have a courtside seat watching a game in VR. Basketball.
Like I remember that was a thing. It might have even been pre-Oculus. I forget. Like WWE did, like they called it like WWE Front Row, and so I always bring up. I don't bring up WWE all the time because I'm like, I'm not a wrestling nerd anymore. I wouldn't even consider. I just was like a fair weather type of fan that paid attention to it. But they do seem to be one of those companies that's like on the cutting edge, might be an extreme terminology, but like they're at the forefront of trying new things. And I remember like they launched some kind of product like that, and I was like, fuck, I wish I had the right device to pair so I could be front row hypothetically at WrestleMania or whatever. Like they try that shit a lot.
It wouldn't work in every sport. Like football would be a nightmare at, like even baseball. I mean, baseball, it could be good. You put it behind home plate, then you get like that view the whole game, which I think would be cool. Baseball definitely now. Basketball, hockey's the only one I'm like 50-50 on, because like, do you put it next to Pierre? Do you
Right.
like where would you
Pierre,
put
by
it?
the way, what a fall from grace. Pierre just got hired by UMass. He's doing UMass hockey games as of yesterday.
What?
He was he
Pierre
was like,
McGuire.
yeah, I don't know why people hate. Don't be wrong. Like, he's easy to make fun of because they'd go to him and be like, "Oh, I remember when David Pasternak played youth hockey and blah blah." Like, that's why people make fun of him. But he was never on the broadcast annoying enough to be like, he needs to get out of here. He's way better than fucking anybody who's on ESPN anymore. So to think that guy's doing UMass hockey games is like the most degrading thing I've ever heard of in my life. Just fucking crazy. But yeah, I don't know. You're more in tune with that stuff. I bought the Oculus, I would say like decently early after its release. And I'm assuming that was like 2-3 years ago at this point.
Oh, more than that.
It's probably come a long, long way because I remember like I was using it and I just couldn't. Like it was uncomfortable on the head. When you would look down, sometimes things would get cut off, and everything just never really added up for me with that. With it just didn't. Like, and I wanted it to work, and I wanted it to be seamless, but it just never really added up.
Yeah, the big thing that I'll say is like from the earlier stages that you had. Did you have it like you had to put like the sensors up in like the four corners and basically kind of, or was it all
when you're wearing the device?
Yeah, like
yes, you had to mark the territory.
Everything now is all based out of actually. I got to hear everything's all based out of the headset. So like I set up the room. I don't have all I need is lighting in here and it can all work. So that's like the big technologies. They moved everything into this.
But you mean like you don't have to go in and be like this set the ground floor level of where you're at?
You still do that, but it's everything's done through here. Like you don't need, because I know like when the Oculus first came out, you had to get like these sensors that you put up next to your computer.
Oh no, okay. So I always had that. I could label on the ground where it was. So like conceptually it felt cool. I probably didn't have as much room as I needed to make it like even better. Like if I was in a living room and there was like my couch I would bump into it or whatever. But it just never resonated to that. The only thing that I ended up liking playing was like a mini golf game, which to me was like, that's fun, but it's also like I wanted way more use cases for like my own life. I thought the idea of like watch Netflix as if it's like a movie theater was fucking cool, but that got old after like one movie. I tried it and it was like, all right, we don't really need to do this
I'll sit back on this chair. It reclines a bit, so I'll sit back. I throw it on. I watch.
Wow, you're all in. Okay, you're all in.
I just lounge out. I've taken a.
What's the latest? Like, what's the latest? What's the next kind of like big product that's coming out in that world?
I mean, right now the flight simulators are just incredible. Like that's my dream. Is I want to get a gaming computers, and then I'd have to get an Oculus because I want to get Microsoft Flight Simulator, and I want to do it all in VR because that's just fucking sick.
Holy shit.
But I think like the big thing, I don't know what the next step is. Like the biggest thing that PlayStation just did was they finally made their headset compatible with computers. So
yep,
that's like I just think the cross generation and the cross platforms now, and like the less exclusive games, I think are going to be the new norm.
Sorry, I got to plug my computer in before it dies.
It's good. I was going to say, don't let me hold you up if you got other things to do.
No. I just wanted to. I don't want my computer to die. Hang on one second. I get these ads all the time about like, use it to train to play hockey or whatever and stuff like that. But it looks like what we played Wii 15 years ago. So I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, it doesn't feel like any development is happening in a fast manner.
It depends, because a lot of those things that'll come out is you can get software that like will work with the Oculus, but it feels like a real stick. And I hate to say it, the Apple Vision Pro is like perfect. Like that's if you wanted to drop the money, that is probably going to be like the future of the training aid, because you have this real stick, but it gives you all the real stuff in real time. And I have a friend who played a round of golf wearing it, and he was like, it's a fucking cheat code at times. It's confusing. Like it's very hard to get used to at first, but then once you're used to it, like he has it, he could see the greens, and he would tell him the slope of it. It's insane. The AR in it.
So that came out like what, a year ago? So they probably will have another product within the next like year or two.
Yeah, probably. They'll have probably in like 6 months they'll have like the Apple Vision Pro, or like when the AirPod Pros came out, and it was that next little upgrade.
Right.
So
Yep.
that's always, and that's why I say my next pair of glasses are going to be the smart ones. So I'm pumped for that.
Well, what's it called? Like, who was it? I remember I used to always just try to buy that like next new dumb technology thing, but like the camera with your sunglasses thing, to me, like I bought it. It was I think it was, I don't know if it was Ray-Ban. It wasn't the Facebook ones.
Yeah,
Facebook has the Ray-Ban deal, right?
Yeah, that's the one I'm going to be getting, because one, for the audio.
Yep.
Like, that's incredible. And two, I wish I did yesterday. I almost did Gus on Break, where I just went live for my 10-minute break, and I was just going to be me sitting in the truck just hanging out. So I might start doing that at some point.
Yeah, and you can just do it from those glasses, basically.
Just do it all from the glasses. This is what I'm seeing out here, guys.
Yeah. I bought ones. I don't even use Snapchat, but I just like bought the Snapchat ones. I forget what they're called. I'm pretty sure they were discontinued after like 12 months. It never really picked up.
No.
Yeah.
I like the idea of the glasses that have it like the speaker right next to your ear, because even in the store, I could have a conversation with someone and still be listening to my music. And it is awkward sometimes. Like if I'm in the van and then Kirk's going off on one of his rants, and and then I see someone walk by, I'm like,
yeah, right. Yeah. You'll be protected with those sunglasses. So
that way it's only for my ears. But Dave, thank you so much for coming on today. This was fun.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll talk to you soon. It was good seeing you at the election night thing.
Always happy to help out.
Yeah,
that's what I always say. Life's easy. Life's good. I can make my own schedule now too at points. It's great.
Perfect. All right, Gus. I appreciate it.
Just a special boy, never talking no harm. He speaks like he's insane. He's had trouble with his brain since the day he was born. Puffing his vapes, taking his pills. Some people talk about your problems, but Gus never will. Getting through life and no one understands how. So sit down and talk with Gus on Puff Up Peace Now.